One of the big things that holds people back from investing in real estate is the issue of the debt to income ratio. I've got a strategy where I teach you how to buy properties every single year. And in order to implement that, obviously you have to buy a property every year. But a lot of the people that I coach on this, or I get these questions a lot of time, asking about the debt to income ratio, saying, well, John, it doesn't make any sense because I can't buy a property every single year, because once I buy one property, then it's going to increase my debt, which is going to mess up my debt to income ratio, and I won't be able to qualify to buy a second property. So I want to address this in this video to give you a solution to this and explain exactly how this works. So when you buy a property, obviously you're going to qualify based on your debt to income ratio. It's going to tell the lender how much that you can afford. But what happens is that when you qualify based on that debt to income ratio, it's going to say, all right, you can afford this amount of a mortgage, right? Now, what you might think is, well, okay, if I buy this property, I'm going to have more debt. And so now my debt to income ratio is going to change. But what happens is that rental income that you're making from that new property you buy, that investment property, you can't count that right away, but they usually have a seasoning period. I believe it's about a year. Some banks might have a 6-month seasoning period. After a year, you can use that income that you're making from that rental property and count that towards your income. So that will offset that debt to income ratio. Because if you're investing wisely, which I recommend that you do, then every time that you're buying a property, the rent that you're getting should be more than the mortgage. Well, wait a minute. That's not always going to be the case. I've got a lot of expenses on the property. But again, you have to remember that when the bank looks at what's happening, it doesn't even matter if you're upside down on the property in terms of the cash flow, if you're negative cash flow. The bank is going to look at what is the debt service that you have on that versus the income. Okay. In fact, what they're really going to do is they're going to just add up all your debt and they're going to add up all your income, right? And so if you have a rental property, you're going to have the mortgage payment, you're going to have the taxes, insurance, a bunch of other expenses, but the only one that the bank is going to care about is going to be the debt service. Okay, so that's the only one that's going to affect your debt to income ratio. And so if you buy one property, okay, 1 year, then you're going to end up in a better situation the next year because you should have more rent than the debt service on that debt. And so you can keep on buying properties. Now you will eventually hit a point, at least in the US, the conventional loan limit, which it's historically been 10. It got reduced to 4. I believe it's back at 10, where you can only hold so many loans. I'm not going to go into that in this video. If you want more information on much more in-depth real estate advice, and if you're not convinced of this, definitely, if you're a Bulldog Mindset member, check out the videos in the membership on why real estate. But if you're not a member, go click that link and join us here. You can join the Bulldog Mindset membership. I've got a ton of resources on real estate investing, and I promise you I will convince you 100% certainty why real estate is a better investment than anything, right? If you want to be retired, financially free, young, you have to invest in real estate. I'm not telling you this because I have a pony in the race here. It's because it's true, and I'll show you the math for it. But again, I've got that in the Bulldog Mindset membership. It's a little bit more in depth there. But the key point is that if you want to be able to continue to buy properties, you can do that as long as you have that rental income that becomes seasoned. There is one other method, though, that you can use to buy multiple properties, which is to do them simultaneously. So if you're getting 2 loans at the same time, then the debt to income ratio is only going to get checked one time. You have to be a little bit cautious with this because if your timelines don't line up, and they check your income to debt ratio and you close on one property before the other one, you could be in a situation where the loan isn't approved. So you do have to be careful on that. But there's plenty of people that have done simultaneous closings and have not had that problem. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter because after the seasoning period for the rental income, you should be fine. So you can think about this too. It depends on what rate that you want to buy properties, right? It will limit it. You might not be able to buy 5 properties in a year if that income isn't seasoned from it, but you can probably buy 1 property each year, which is really the strategy I recommend. Or maybe if you're in a better financial position, you might be able to buy 2 properties a year and just wait for those 2 to season every 6 months or so. But that's it. If you want some help, like I said, on real estate investing, check out some other videos on this channel. I've got a video on whether you should buy or rent that you should definitely watch if you are considering whether or not to buy a house right now, or if you think definitely it might be better to rent. I don't give you the advice that most people do, so you're definitely going to want to watch that.